All right, what's going on, everybody? This is Charting 101. This is going to be a basic introduction to charting. Like I've said, I'm going to get more advanced as we go, but for all the newbies, this is just going to be super basic. And, if you don't know anything, which again, it seems like a lot of people are beginners, you have to understand the anatomy of a candlestick. Now, a lot of traders use this, and I'm going to show you why. Now, just in just a minute after I explain this, we're going to go into the chart, into the chart, and I'm going to show you, on a live chart. But just to explain, the anatomy of everything, let's get right into it. So let's just play pretend. Like I said, I'm going to go into the charts in just a minute. But so let's say this low is $5. Let's say the open is $10. The close is $15 and the high is $20. Okay, let's just play pretend. So at market open, for me, I'm in Mountain Time, so that's 7:30 to 2. If you're in Eastern Standard Time, that's going to be 9:30 to 4, or again, whatever time zone you're in. So right at 7:30, the market opens, and we're sitting at $10. So basically, from open to close, we have traded from $5 all the way to $20. Okay, so let's just say at open we're at $10, and we take a dump. Okay, so the bears are pushing the price. That's what this wick is. It's called a wick or a tail. Whatever you want to say. But the bears were pushing the price down all the way to $5, and then they pushed it all the way back up to $20 before at 2 p.m. We closed at $10. Okay, so that's a candle stick for you, and then a bearish one or would be the same thing, but just kind of in reverse. So you see that we opened up here at $10, and the bulls were able to fight it off for a little bit and push it all the way up to $20 before inevitably coming all the way down to $5, and then at close they closed the price up at $10. Okay, so that is just the anatomy of a candlestick if you don't know. And I am going to pause this here in just a minute, and we're going to go onto a live chart so that way you can understand it a little better. Okay, so this is the Tesla chart. Again, I should say that this is a TradingView. So if you don't have TradingView downloaded, it's free to use. You can pay for it, but just for the sake of just doing the basics right now, that's when you start using other indicators and stuff like that. You pay for it, but as of right now, you could just download it and use it for free. So again, this is TradingView. So I'm on the Tesla chart. This is the daily time frame. So each daily time frame. Okay. So each one of these candles, see how it says, daily time frame. So each one of these candlesticks right here that you see is a daily candle. So daily candle, daily candle, daily candle, daily candle. If you zoom out, you're going to see that there's a ton of these candles, okay? And they create some sort of a pattern. Okay, so just kind of like I was telling you previously, the anatomy of a candle. Now we can see it on the chart live. Well, it's not live, market's closed right now. But basically, like what I was saying, is you can see that let's take this candle. This was a green day. This was Monday, I believe. So you can see that the price opened up here on the right side, 398.69. Okay, and the bulls were able to push it up all the way up. You see this little wick up here, this tail, to 423.18. So like a $25 move for Tesla, which is pretty crazy. And then the bears push it all the way down here at close to 409 ish. So this is a body. This is a tail. This is a body. So they pushed it all the way down to about 409. Then you can see this next candle, which was Tuesday. You could see that price opened up here at 405.34 ish, and then the bulls were able to push it up to this 408 409 level before the bears took control and took it all the way down to this 393.85, and then the bulls came back in and pushed the price all the way up at close to 401, 401.11, 401-ish. Okay, so now that we've identified that, we can go on to support and resistance levels, and that's going to be, I mean, that's honestly your bread and butter when it comes to this stuff. If you can learn this, you can pretty much master this thing, just because, like I said, that's really one of them. I mean, I'm going to show some indicators and stuff that I use, and chart patterns and stuff like that. But the bread and butter is support and resistance levels. So again, I have these two yellow lines drawn, and we can see here that price has come up from here. It tapped this zone right here, this yellow line, at 472.34. Then it came back down, and you could see that it came back up again. That is called a resistance level. So that is where price rejected. That's where the bulls, the bears took control, and they sold the price lower, as you can see right here. Now, this is where you would want to get your entries and your exits. So let's just say, for instance, I was going to, let me zoom out. Let me zoom in a little bit. There we go. Zoom in. Sorry, I don't have a mouse, so I should use that and be easier. But okay, so we came up, we tapped this area, then we sold off. So if you were looking to, let's just say, go long here, a good spot to have sold your position was at this level. Because remember, we already tapped this level and we rejected. So if you came back up and you bought some Tesla here, you would probably want to set a stop loss, or again, take some shares off the table, sell your position, because if we reject off of it like we did, you see this candle, the body wasn't above this resistance level. So if the body is above this resistance level, if it breaks and it closes the day above that resistance level, then that resistance level is now broken. But since it wicked, that tells me that price rejected, and now we came all the way back down. So we were at what, 472, and now what are we at? What we went as lowest as 389, or sorry, like 380-ish, 382. So now again, if you were a buyer, again, there's really no there's no support right here. So I'm not saying this is a good entry, but I'm just saying, if you were to buy, what you would probably want to take profit on. Let me get this. Let's just say you bought right here. You would probably want to take profit right there. You see what I'm saying? Because that is saying that we already came up here, we rejected, we came back up here, we rejected again. So if we can't break that level next time that we come up there, then we're probably going to reject again. Now again, is it going to happen? I don't know. I mean, we're going to have to wait and see, right? But that's telling you that is going to be a area where you'd want to sell or take some profit, or just take some off the table. Now, if you have a longer term, a long outlook, you see this line up above. What that is the previous all-time high. So if we were to, let's just say we were to break above this level, and the body closed above this, what is that, 471.33 level, and the body closed above it, then we could head back to all-time highs, test it, and either break above it or break below it. Okay, so that is your support, that is your resistance levels, and that's how you get those. You zoom out, like I did, and you take the top of the highest candle, and that's your first line right there. That's going to be your resistance level. And then you're going to take some, if I wanted to, I could actually probably put one right here and see where that takes me. But now we have these two, and this is our current resistance level. Okay, so let me take that off. And then with support level, it's going to be the same thing. So with a support level, you can see here, let's zoom out and zoom back in a little bit. Sorry, like I said, I don't have a mouse, so it's a little harder to do it, you know, just pinching my fingers together and stuff. Okay, so there again, this is a support. Now, okay, this is down at 220. I don't think we're ever going to see these levels again, but that doesn't matter right now. But okay, so we can see that this support level, price came down, it tapped it, and then it bounced. Do you see this next candle right here? So this next candle, we went below it, but we closed above it. And then we came up here, and then we didn't quite touch it. And then we did all this up here, and we came back down and we tested it again. So, you know, if you were somebody that was going to go long on the stock, if you were somebody that was going to buy, your entry price should be somewhere, as long as the body, which is this guy right here. Remember, these guys are the bodies. As long as the bodies don't close below this support level, that would have been a good entry. And look, it's proven that if you would have bought somewhere right here at 220, look, we went all the way up to 250. You could have sold, made a nice, you know, if you would have bought 100 shares, I'm just using 100 shares as an example, you could have made 3 grand. Then, you know, we kind of just did we didn't really tap it there. We came back up, and then right here, boom, we did it again. So you could have gotten an entry right here and said, okay, I'm going to take a shot here. I'm going to buy 100 shares of Tesla as long as it doesn't body below the support level. And then guess what? Boom. We went all the way up to 274. You could have sold again, made another, you know, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. Again, unless you wanted to hold it forever, then you'd be missing out on this big move here. But for the sake of the video, that's how you get your support and resistance levels. I hope that was informative. I'm doing my best as far as that. And then also too, just a quick little thing, how you can get the longer term trend if you want to know, okay, well, what kind of trend are we in? Are we in an uptrend or are we in a downtrend? There's a saying that says, and it's kind of cliche, but I'm going to say it anyway. It says, when in doubt, zoom out. So, I mean, if you look at it, if I go to a longer term time frame, this is day, all these little things, these are daily candles. So, I mean, this is probably, a year or two of data. So what I could do is I could show that, my long-term, actually, I might not even put it there. Let's see. Yeah, I'll put it there just for the sake of the video. We can show that we are in an uptrend. You see what I'm saying? See how this line that I drew is going up. So now again, I don't expect the price ever to come back down this low, but again, this is just for the video. Or you can put one here and see what. Yeah, I'm just gonna leave it there. Okay, so now I'm gonna show you. So basically on Tesla, we're in an overall uptrend on the daily time frame. Now I'm gonna go to a different one. Let's go to UNH. No, not UNH. Was it Netflix? I think. NFLX. Nope. Netflix. Okay, so let's do this one. So this one, we're in a downtrend on the daily. Now on the if you zoom out, we're actually in an uptrend. But if you see this, now you can see. Sorry, again, I'm trying my best here. Okay. So now this was all-time highs for Netflix. Okay, they just did a stock split, so the price is now $134. But before the split, it was what the highest price was $1,340. So now that's where it topped out. Okay, so we can see here now that we are in a kind of looks like a descending channel. Again, I'm going to show you all the patterns and stuff like that later, but we're basically going down. We're in a downtrend, right? So price came up here. We made an all-time high. Then we came here. and this is a support line that I've drawn, and this is a resistance line that I've drawn. So we're still in this little structure. So again, if you would have seen this chart, you could have identified that down here could have been a potential move to the upside, and it would have been you would have been profitable. $107, and we came all the way back up to $117. About a $10 move. If you would have bought 100 shares, that would have been a pretty little penny there. But if we were to come up here, let's just say in the next coming days we come up here, this might be a area. If you bought down here, or you've been buying, this might be an area where you might want to sell, $120, because if we follow this pattern, then what's next? What's going to come next? More than likely, we might come back down and test this lower channel. You see what I'm saying? Now, again, that's why you have to pay attention every day, and you have to watch, how things close. And that's why I said, if the body part would be below this level or above this level, that's when you can identify if that's a breakout. And you'd either want to stay away if it's down here and let it continue to fall and find some support down here, or if we broke this level, then that might be a breakout. And you actually, again, I'm going to go over stuff later, but if we came up here and we rejected, then we're probably going to come back down and touch this lower channel. If we broke out, this could honestly be kind of like a bull flag, and we could break to the upside and maybe test all-time highs. But for the sake of, like I said, it's just super, super basic. You'd want to get your entry here. And if we came back up to here, this is where you'd want to be your exit. And then, you see as we started to go down. Now, if you wanted to, look at the overall trend, you can zoom out. And you know that at the overall trend with Netflix is bullish, it's up. So you take your little trend line here and you put it all the way down here. Overall, actually, I'd probably do it like this. Actually, no. I put it all the way down here because yeah. So now that's my trend. That is the trend that we've been in for the past, give or take a few months. Actually, yeah, a lot of months. I mean, that's probably like, a couple of years of candlesticks. But you see, we can identify now that we're in an overall bullish trend. So you see what I'm saying? So even though the short term it's looking like it's bearish, and and Netflix was overbought, it needed to cool off. But as long as, this is our overall trend, as long as Netflix were to hold this level down here, and if you see it, it kind of coincides with it, because, again, if we come back here and we reject, we're likely going to come back here and we're going to be somewhere within this channel and this channel. You see what I'm saying? And then that's where you can get your entry to go back long again. So again, this is just super basic stuff. This is how you find, your support lines, your resistance lines, what a candlestick is. I hope this was informative. If anybody has any questions, they can message me. I'm always here. Again, I'm trying to do my best to help people as much as I can. I'm not the best explainer, so I'm really trying here. But if something's confusing you, you can always message me, and I can always explain it a little more. I always trade on my phone, so I'm not gonna lie. I don't really use. I never use the computer to chart, so I kind of don't like to use it. I'm trading on my phone 100% of the time. But yeah, so this is just super basic stuff. In the next course, I'm probably going to go over moving averages and why you need those on your chart. And again, we'll start eventually. This is what my charts look like. Um, kind of like this. Yeah, and it's a lot to unpack here, but we'll get through it, and we'll work through it. These are how my charts look, and we're going to get through all of these, and we're going to understand where to go long, where to go short, and what levels you're looking for. So again, I hope this was informative, and yeah, we'll see you guys in the next